Hello, guys, how are you? And welcome to the 14th episode of The Gold Room with Iyabo Ojo. Ah, Today, I'm going to be bringing on this show. I am excited. I say that all the time, get used to it. I'm going to be bringing on this show my big brother, friend, Paddy. Hey, he's one, when we talk about radio, TV presentation, he's a guru. He's one of the gurus of radio and TV presentation. He's also a preacher of, let's get to see. Pastor Daddy Freeze.
How are you doing, my sister?
I'm fine.
It's an honor to be here with you.
I know.
Mm.
Have you ever done a podcast before? Apart from your own podcast that you do? Or would I call your own a podcast?
I don't even know what to call it. It's a cast.
Yeah.
I've never, to be honest, I don't like granting interviews, but it's
Okay.
you. Anytime I call you, Yabo, come and join my life. You always come. So I'm like, how would I now not come for her own? This is now not fair. So I was like, you know what, whatever it is I'm doing, and I was going through quite a bit, which I shared with you
Yes,
privately.
yes. Quite a bit.
Quite a bit, yeah. So I almost didn't make it, but I was like, no. Especially since you're my sister, you always show up for me, and then you are my brother's wife. So
Brother's girlfriend. I'm not married
no,
yet.
you
We
are
are
my,
not
we, are,
married
we
yet.
declare now. We declare.
Oh my God. It's such an honor to have you. Such an honor to have you
Wonderful to be here.
on the show. So the first thing I want to ask you, why radio?
Hmm. You know, I think I've never been properly diagnosed, but I think I had ADHD, that's attention deficit disorder, as a
Okay.
kid because I couldn't concentrate on anything for more than 15 minutes.
Okay.
School was stressful for me. At a point, my parents thought I was retarded, maybe just slow. Then I did my IQ test, and my IQ test came out. Did I have my IQ close to Einstein or something ridiculous? And they were like, oh, he's not applying himself. Let us beat him. We apply.
Chopped king.
Hey!
Shaky.
Now, my mother is a professor of law. My mother is a vice
Oh
chancellor.
my God.
Today, she's a vice chancellor of a university.
And how can you not love education?
My dad is a doctor.
Oh my God.
My I have three younger sisters from my mom. The three of them, the last born is a lawyer
Oh my
in
God.
the UK, has her master's in intellectual property law. The one before that one is a doctor in the UK. The one that's immediately after me has her PhD in economics. She's also a lecturer. So I'm just trying to give you a bit of
I'm
now. My
understanding
father
already.
is polygamous, so he has another wife.
Okay.
And my brother from his second wife did 2 degrees together at
Wow.
the same time. I
At the
had
same
2-1 from the two of them at the same time in 2 different universities.
And then you decided.
So when I'm the way I am,
You decided to be the black sheep of the family.
I didn't decide. I just couldn't sit down. And the worst thing was, I didn't see how the YDX that they were teaching us in further maths was going to be useful for me in my life. I always wanted to be an entertainer. I wanted to be a musician.
Oh,
I
really?
started off as a rapper. Oh, yeah.
You rapped?
I could back then.
Please give us. Let us
No,
see
not
now.
my rap was, and it's been so long. If I
You
rap
don't
now,
have
your
the
camera
video?
will blow.
You don't have the video.
No, there was no video that time. It was motion picture. You will jump and they will take pictures.
I can't imagine you rapping.
No, I used to be a rapper.
Ah.
And I used to tell my mom. My mom thought I was mad. You see, I went through different stages when I would tell my parents things and they would look at me like, is it that I need deliverance or I need to go to an asylum? Let them have me evaluated by a proper psychiatrist. So I always wanted to be a musician. And in Ibadan, I grew up in Ibadan.
Mm-hmm.
So where do I want to this Fuji music that they listen to in Ibadan? Why do you want to rap? It was just not gelling. Maybe if I was born now, maybe I would have had, the opportunity to. But I also thank God for the time I was born because everything just played out eventually. So I wanted to be a rapper. And then my mom used to take us abroad every 3, 4 years, the way her pocket could manage as kids. My mom is Romanian, by the way.
Yeah.
So she took us to Romania in 1996. I'd started university that year. So we're on the first year break. And my mom took us abroad. And I still did not, I got into, I studied sciences in secondary school. And then I got into the university to study law.
Okay.
I just read the JAM brochure. They said English and 3 other subjects. I gave them the 3 other subjects: physics, chemistry, biology.
To study law.
When I got there, and the people, I had the cutoff. People were like, no. I said, but that's what it said in JAM.
Science.
I said, but that just said English language, English literature, and any 2 other subjects. I gave them physics and mathematics or some crazy science. So they said, okay. Now, my younger sister then wanted to do law too.
Okay.
So there was only one space.
Oh.
So my mom now called aside and said, you know what? You did this science. You can go and do computers. That's how my parents got into my head. You can do computer science. Meanwhile, I just studied for that jam after I'd done jam like 5 times. I just wanted to get out of the house. So they said I should go to computer science. So I went to computer science. Of course, I was not serious with it. But that period was when we went abroad. And my cousin, I'm older than her with 2 days.
Okay.
Her name is Gina. She was working on a radio station doing a youth program.
Okay.
So I followed her on one of the days as her cousin from Nigeria, and I saw the vibe. I was like, I can do this. I like this. So I made a few friends there in the radio station. So I used to go to the radio station almost every day. I'll just beg my mom for transport money. I knew how to enter bus in Romania. I'll just go to the place. The radio station is now defunct because I asked last time I went in 2018. So that is how I started radio. I now came to Nigeria and I started pestering my mom. I want to work in BCOS. There's a radio station. My mother said she doesn't know anybody. So that's why I go begin to follow my friends talk. Wale Don and some other guy called, I think, Edienne. They were working in OGBC.
Okay.
So I told my mom one day that I'm going to OGBC. I'll be going from Ibadan twice a week. I can handle it. My mother now realized that if she doesn't step in at that point, I will go to this Ogun State and be traveling back and forth. So my mom said, okay, she knows somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody. So they got me an audition in BCOS. Okay. And that is how I started my radio journey in 1996.
Wow. 1996?
Yes.
Wow.
I was still in the uni. So I worked on the radio and I was in the uni between 1996 and 2001. I finished in 2001. I had I had 5 years experience. So I came over to Cool FM and I was taken in Cool FM because I had the experience.
Yes, and your voice was always very unique.
Yes.
You had this unique way, And in Nigeria, and then the phonetic thing really worked. That one got everybody.
It helped us.
Who is this cute voice, handsome voice? Who is this person?
It did help back then, especially with Cool FM, because Cool FM wanted to have this foreign vibe.
Yeah.
So I kind of when I joined Cool FM, I wasn't a presenter. I was their bencher. If somebody is sick or somebody dies, they will bring me to come and do the person's show,
Yeah.
But I thank God for the opportunity because that gave me the leverage I needed to break into the Lagos market, which was beginning to blossom at that time.
It did blossom a lot because that was when I knew you then. It was the voice, but the day I heard you speak Yoruba, I was like, is this man not Oyibo? Igbo lost in boy Yoruba. And then I found out that, okay, you lived in Ibadan. Your dad is actually Nigerian. Your mom is not Nigerian. So, Daddy freeze. Hey. Why the attack on pastors? What
Now,
happened?
a lot of people have asked that question. To be honest, let me tell you my religious journey. I was born Catholic in Romania. Everybody's Roman Catholic in Romania. So my dad brought us home to Nigeria. I was 3 years old in 1979 when we came home. And my dad, who's Muslim, wanted us to be raised Muslim.
Okay.
Now, because my dad and I were not getting along, I did not want to practice what he was practicing, just
Okay.
as stubbornness that, okay, you should be, will kill me. So I now, out of rebellion, went into Pentecostalism that seemed to, because I wanted to be a musician and the church had, church always has music and most big musicians came from church. So yes, I just felt there was a space for me in the church, and I joined the church. I went through Pentecostalism until it got to a point when things were not adding up.
Okay.
I worked with very close with my pastor then, and I can remember we're having a meeting about some concert we're trying to do, and somebody said, uh, that time Jonathan was the president. Said, yeah, at 12 midnight, President Jonathan will address us. And my pastor said, no, 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 not this year. This year's election year. You want them to come against us? And I'm like, oh, wow, I thought you guys had God. I was like, I thought you guys had God. All of this, oh, wow. You said the fear. So it was little things that started adding up. And then I went through my divorce.
Okay.
And the divorce was messy. And then I was supposed to preach. No, I wasn't preaching. I was supposed to host something for church. And last minute, they just called me and canceled. And then my pastor said, hey, if I come to church, I should go and be at the back. I'm like, really? I remember, because I used to read Bible scattered here and there. So I remember reading John chapter 4, the Samaritan woman at the well. And Christ used her to save a whole nation, even though she had 5 husbands and was living with somebody that was not her husband. And I come the one that said, and this I never get 5 husbands, 5 wives. And I just one, I just come on. Why are you relegating me to the background? So sitting at home, because I didn't go to church, I now used to study scripture by myself. And I just realized that things were not adding up. And the more I asked pastors questions, the more they said, no, 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 you are being rebellious. But come, Christ himself was rebellious. He broke out of the Jewish faith, you understand, to create what we have today as Christianity. And every single instance in Christianity was rebellion of the Lutherans coming out of the Pentecostal of the Catholic Church with the Protestant Revolution, and then even Pentecostalism with Charles Fox Parham and William Seymour in the early 1900s, breaking out of the Methodist Church. So at every instance, there was rebellion. So I don't understand how being rebellious is bad when Christ himself was a rebel. John the Baptist was a rebel, And then I started studying scripture and I didn't have answers. So I started going back in time. Okay, what does history say? Then I started going further back. I realized the Bible was not written in English until 400 years ago. Okay.
Oh, it was not written in English?
Until 400 years ago.
Oh, really? I didn't know.
Yeah. There was no English 1,000 years ago. The Bible, the Old Testament was written in Greek and in Hebrew and Aramaic, and the New Testament was written in Greek.
Okay.
So I said, okay, let's go and start looking for all these Greek Bibles. Let's see what they really. Now you need a tutor. So I started looking for Greek scholars. I started looking for Hebrew and Aramaic scholars. Then okay, now understand the linguistic expression, which is different from what the English Bible is saying. What these people are saying sounds totally different.
Oh, really?
Then, oh yeah, you don't want to go down that journey. Then I now needed rabbis. Those were the Jewish teachers who teach the real Old Testament, because it's like you're asking an American to teach you Yoruba culture. If you want to learn about Yoruba culture, you go to Oni of Ife. You go to. So I started going to the custodians, quote and unquote, of the Old Testament, the rabbinic translations, and I now realize that the narrative Christianity had evolved was totally different.
So that you're saying the English version is totally different from the original version.
I wouldn't say totally different. I would say quite different, substantially different.
Okay.
And it's one thing, for instance, the King James Version, when it came out in 1611, even the King James Bible did not have the word Jesus inside.
Really?
It will amaze you that there's nobody in Israel that answers Jesus because the Hebrew alphabet does not have J, that G sound.
Yeah, I heard so.
So
And is actually pronounced as a, is it Jeshua?
Yeshua, there's no J.
Okay, Yeshua. Yeah,
Yeshua, which is a short form of Yehoshua.
But it still means Jesus.
Jesus has no meaning.
Oh, the meaning of Yeshua is
Let me
Jesus.
explain to you. Let me explain to you how we got to Jesus.
Okay.
So, politics. Alexander the Great conquered Palestine and had all their books translated to Greek.
Okay.
So Greek then was the lingua franca, the way English is. You go to Australia, you speak English, you go to... So the New Testament was not written in Christ's language.
Okay.
Christ spoke Aramaic but knew Hebrew. According to most scholars agree on this. Mm-hmm. Did he know Greek or speak Greek? Maybe a few words here and there. But also remember that Israel was also under Roman conquest. Mm-hmm. So they spoke Latin. The language of the Romans was Latin. Mm-hmm. But because the teachings of Christ were meant for the Jews in diaspora who spoke Greek, the first record of the New Testament was in Greek. Now, Greek has a problem. Greek cannot say ye. Okay. So the closest they have to it is iye, I-E. Okay. Greek are like Ibadan, the language, that's the Koine Greek, the original Greek. Okay. They cannot say sh. Yeah. So like Ibadan people that will say su instead of shu, yeah. Or so instead of sho. Yeah. You know, the Greeks could not say shua. So instead of Yeshua, it became Yesua. Oh. Another problem with Greek was Greek male names did not end with A. They ended with S. Okay. So from Yeshua, it became Jesus. Okay. So because of the handicap of the Greek language, his name was spelled and pronounced as Jesus. It got to Latin, more politics. Remember, during the time of Constantine, Emperor Constantine, in the early 300s, that was when they made Christianity a proper religion. Now, Constantine ordered a guy called Jerome to now translate the Bible into Latin. Okay. And that's where we got the Latin Vulgate, or the Biblia Sacra Vulgata in Latin. Uh-huh. So, in the Latin Vulgate, instead of Jerome, who was translating the Latin Bible, instead of him to go to the original Hebrew and Aramaic words, for Christ, instead of him using Yeshua, he just copied, but Latin can say Yeshua. Yeah. But he just copied it from Greek, Jesus. Oh, so it went from Greek to Latin and then from Latin as Jesus. Now let me now break it down to you. In Hebrew, Yeshua was Joshua's name. Yehoshua was Joshua's name. Same thing. So Christ and Joshua had the same name in the original language. Okay. Even when they translated it to Greek, they were both translated as Jesus. But now in English, one is Jesus, the other one is Joshua. Oh. So there's so much of these little pockets of confusion that have tilted the faith into a place where it gives us so much worry. I'll give you an example. When Jerome was translating the Latin Bible, he used the word Lucifer 4 times. Twice in the book of Job, talking about the power of God and the power of prayer. Once in Isaiah chapter 14, verse 12, oh, how you are fallen from heaven, oh Lucifer. And once in 2 Peter chapter 1, verse 19, talking about Christ. But when they were translating it to English, and the English Bible relied on the Latin Bible, they chose only one. Isaiah chapter 14, verse 12, how you have fallen from.
Yeah.
That's how Lucifer became the devil.
Oh, so
In
Lucifer.
I challenge you today, go and read Latin Bible. 2 Peter chapter 1, verse 19. Peter called Christ Lucifer. The word Lucifer is there in the Latin Bible. And if you reference the original Greek Bible, the word is phosphorus. Phosphorus and Lucifer mean the same thing.
Oh, really?
Just Google.
But what does Yeshua mean in English?
Now, Yeshua means Yahweh saves. The full name is Yehoshua or Yahushua, but shortened to Yeshua is like Iyabo De, shortened to Iyabo. Now, Iyabo means mother come.
Yeah.
Iyabo De means mother came. You understand? So it still carries the meaning. Ye is from Yahweh. Shua is from save. So God saves. But Jesus has no meaning in Hebrew,
So we're
Aramaic.
supposed to be calling him
Yeshua. That's his real name.
Oh.
Now, a lot of people say, yes, we
I'm
now
learning,
call.
guys. Are you learning?
They will fight with you.
We're in church, oh, we are learning.
So a lot of people will tell you that, no, that Jesus now means Yeshua. I have a problem with that because it is the white people who conquered us, who looked at us from head to toe, and decided that the best thing they can do to us is use us on our plantations.
So they wrote the Bible to suit themselves.
Thank you. That is why the picture of Jesus is white.
True.
He is Jewish. Jewish people are not white with blue eyes and blonde hair.
Yeah. But the man who acted Jesus had come out several times to say, I'm an actor.
I used to pray to his picture when I was in ignorance.
Me too, though.
I bought the picture and put in my house.
Everyone
and I used to have
till today, some people do still.
Yes. So it's now, if I see that picture, I can break it because it's like me praying to my slave master.
Yes.
These people could not share toilet with us.
Yeah.
The blacks were at the back of the bus, but you want us to go to your heaven.
Yeah.
And how does that make it make sense? In this earth, our children cannot go to school with your children, but then you are teaching us about how to go. And then the Bible has a lot to say about slavery. Ephesians chapter 6, verse 5, slaves, obey your earthly masters. So it made slavery.
Was that not in the original?
It's of course it's in the original.
Yeah.
And some people say, no, the Bible was not talking about slaves, it was talking about workers. I say, no. I read it in Greek. The word for slave is doulos. So it was speaking specifically about slaves. And they look at us and they see us as slaves, and then they use this religion to hold us hostage. And I'm like, no. And then the deeper I went, it's a rabbit hole. It has no end. It's not like you go from here and then you will get there and that's the destination. You just keep going.
Yeah.
And then you now find out that there's so many, especially the Pentecostal monetized gospel. Bring your money.
That one I don't like.
No.
That
Just,
one I can't stand.
Nigeria is evidence that paying tithe does not work. Go and look around. You see tithers working.
I stop paying tithe a lot. So I'm sorry to you that believe in paying tithe. You can pay tithe if that's what you believe in. I always tell people, follow your heart, whatever you believe in that works for you. Some people just sit down and talk to God and it works for them. And I'm in that space where I just sit down and I'm talking to God and it works for me. Some people, I refer a lot of times to the universe. When I'm talking, I refer to the universe. I don't know why I do that, but that's my belief. Tithe for me, I've done that when I gave my life to Christ and I was in the church, I was in the choir. For 5 years, I believed so much in tithe, but I can't be giving my tithe to people who are living larger than life, than me. And for me, what made me stop was there was this day I met this woman. And she's a cleaner in the house of God. I don't want to mention the church because I don't want
no one their drama.
And she was begging me that her son needed to go to school, university, and she wanted me to support. And I'm like, you this woman, you're always in the church. You work, for the church and with the church. And they have universities. So why can't your son be enrolled there? And she told me she could not afford it. you're not supposed to pay. You're a worker in the church. And this university was built, I mean, it was built with the school,
Church
offerings and
funds, yeah.
tithes and the funds. So they should be able to, create a kind of platform where their workers can get free education. I mean, why would you use tithes and offering money to build a university, and at the end of the day, it's just meant for the rich? It doesn't make any sense.
Rich Muslims will go, rich Buddhists will go, but church children will not go.
So for me, I just said, no, I'm not giving my tithe anymore. And I stopped. And
You didn't die.
no, I didn't die. I'm still a blessing. So this brings me to the next question. How were you able to overcome? Because I know that the backlash was heavy on you there.
You have no idea.
I know.
You
'cause
have,
I could.
as in, you have no idea. I'm going to tell you a little bit of it. You see, why personally I don't believe tithe works is 221 million people in Nigeria. 50% are Christian. Let's say out of that 50%, which is about 100 million, let's say 10% pay tithe. We should have 10 million people in this country doing very well.
Yeah.
The problem is, according to, this was released last year when the dollar was still better than diesel, less than 1% of Nigerians have 500,000 naira in their bank. If you have less than 500,000 naira in your bank, you need to understand that you are poor.
Of course.
You do not have access to good medical care. You cannot send your children to good schools. And forget about that. Yeah, some people have their money tied up in assets. It's a lie. There is no way you, Iyabo, will not have 500,000 in one account so that one day somebody will call and you just need emergency money. You'll be amazed that some people have 10 million as emergency money. I talked to some of my friends who I considered wealthy, and they had between 5 and 10 million stacked somewhere that they never touch, just for something happens and
Then
they need to quickly get something.
Yeah.
So if because they have access to all our BVN, so they check all our bank accounts, and they checked, and less than 1% of the population had 500K last year. Imagine this year. 500K last year could buy double of what it can buy this year.
It's cool though.
So where are the tithers, the people who God is blessing? Where are they?
Yeah.
We have 2 billionaires in Nigeria. Number 1 and number 2, Dangote and Rabiu. They are both Muslims. They don't pay tithe to any church. So where are these? I want to see these people that God is blessing.
Yeah.
Guess what? All our pastors are wealthy. One came out yesterday and said his wife eats food of 1 million naira, gives his wife 1 million naira to cook soup every month. Something.
Really?
Yes, it was on the news. And I'm like, the people that come to your church, how many of them can give 100,000 naira to their wives to cook for a month?
Then why is the tithe, when they collect this tithe, what do they do with it?
Oh.
Is there any
Go to the hangar in Lagos, you will see the jets. They live the life. You see, when I started going against tithe, that's the first, it emboldened me. There's no Nigerian pastor. Mention the pastor. They responded to me, small me, we don't know anything.
I remember.
I just came, I read Bible to them. Deuteronomy chapter 14, if you read from verse 22, it says, eat your tithe by yourself. I read it. Verse 26 says, if the place the Lord your God has chosen for you to take your tithe is too far away, sell the tithe and take the money. When you get there, use it to buy wine, beer, anything you want, and celebrate in the house of the Lord. I said, so our tithe is to buy Hennessy and beer in the house of the Lord. I quote them as Bible. Give them. Mention the GO. They all responded. One top GO that I used to look up and I used to be afraid, said, there's one fellow on the internet. He said, you should not pay your tithe. I said, wow. Because guess what? Their members took the videos to them and said, look at this. They said we should not pay tithes, and they are quoting Bible. That's when I realized, okay, this is the business. I was afraid. I thought I was going to die. I thought I was going to become poor. And yes, I became poor, but it was not spiritual. They locked they put calls through.
Wow.
I had a job coming. I'll just go to the job and they'll say, till now, they are still doing it. There's a company I'm working with. I'm supposed to be presenting for them. We've done half of the work. It remains another half. He just called me the other day that one telecoms giant I'm waiting for, because we had a contract. So I'm waiting for the name of the tele. So both the telecom giant and the Algada said they will drop me. Sue. I will just drag them. Why am I suing them? I will just drag them and
So
shoot
it's still ongoing.
till today. You see, the reason why they can't get me is because I don't do anything in Nigeria.
But why are they doing that? I mean, Christ,
Till
they say, preached love and
they
forgiveness.
simply because I insult, and when I first started, I was a bit harsh because the moment all these pastors responded, and I did not die, I did not fall sick. You understand? I realized, so they
Were
don't
they
even.
placing courses?
They, as in, people who go to church and record videos of an entire church of 5,000 people heaping curses on me.
Wow.
Nothing they did not. They prayed that I should. This 7 years later, at least I've not died.
I feel what they would have done is come out and defend everything that you were saying.
Defend with what? The Bible does not support the tithing system that Nigeria runs. So what do they, unless they want to go and create a new Bible, as long as it is the one that I have, any day they come, I will respond to them. Because by the grace of God, I have that book inside my head. Not the English one, the original one. So when I'm correcting you, I'll be correcting you from Greek and Latin and Hebrew. So just come. So what they will now be doing is they now need to use fear. Don't listen to him, you will be poor. Don't listen to him, you know.
Well,
and then
you're not poor, you're doing well now.
My darling sister, I can manage my life. I'm not rich. I'm not like you. But at least I can afford the basic.
Your wristwatch and your coin.
I can afford the basic things of life. Yeah. And I can save up to buy watch.
You're not poor. You're not poor.
You know?
You're not poor. So you have a church now, right?
Yes, we have a church.
Now, I get confused about your church. Is it like an online church?
Yes, it's an online church.
Okay.
Why? So we don't go down the same road these people went down. Okay. What we do is I teach and we gather and we do charity. Okay. So we focus on what is important.
So you guys don't pay tithe and offering?
No. Okay. We don't even take offering. What we do is we have a project. For instance, we have a woman who is sick and needs money. We raise money for her. We take care of her. So you understand? Like a foundation to support. More like a foundation to support, but we don't. There's nothing wrong with gifts. Of course, if you liberate, there's one woman that came to me one day and dashed me, was it 2 million or something? And I was looking at her like, and she was like, "That if it's the money I saved last year from not paying tithe. If you know how much, I now have 5 houses in the US. I now have a house in Nigeria, and I didn't have all these things before." I said, "Hey, really?" You know, I was walking in the mall once in the UK, and someone just saw me and dragged me into Apple shop and bought me the latest iPhone 10 then. Yeah. Said, "Daddy Freeze, you don't know how much you saved me last year from not paying tithe." Okay. You know, so yes, you get gifts. The Bible does not say you cannot support somebody who preaches to you. Luke chapter 8, verse 1 to 3 talks about women who supported Christ, you know, from their pockets. But when you actually create a 10% a month system from the people's...
And telling them it's going to God.
It's going to God.
It's better to be opened, you know. I need money to do stuff. If they want to gift you, let them gift you knowing that it's for you. Not saying, you know, like this money is going to... God does not eat food now. All he eats is our praises and worship.
My darling sister, the Bible is explicitly clear. Acts chapter 10 from verse 1, Cornelius gave to the poor and God received it as a gift. Matthew 25, 31 to 41. Each time you gave to the least of my brothers and sisters, you were giving to me. There is no place in scripture where giving to a pastor was considered giving to God. If you want to give to God, give to the poor, the widows, the orphans, even the foreigners. So, how did we move to taking 10% of your monthly salary to support a church building that is going to become a nightclub or a cinema or a hostel in the future? Because I guarantee you, 50 years from now, this Nigerian version of Christianity would either be extinct or on its way to extinction. So imagine, Nigeria, if you check hospitals, top hospitals in the world, you see Israel there, you see America there, you see Japan there. We don't have a hospital that ranks among the top hospitals in the world. When you check universities, Harvard, MIT, just check the top 10. You see Singapore there, you see Japan there in the top 10, or at worst in the top 20. We don't have a single university. Our first university, which is our best, is probably 100 and something or 200 and something. That's if we're lucky. But the top three biggest churches in the world are here. 50,000 seater here, 100,000 seater in Abuja, and they are currently building 150,000 seater in Port Harcourt. It does not add up. If we had the schools, the hospitals, and then we have the churches, and now, okay, we're a wealthy nation, how can we have the richest pastors in the world? Our pastors will be on the list. The biggest church buildings in the world, but then the poorest people. We have some of the poorest people. This financial crisis that we're going through now will show you how poor Nigerians are.
Yes.
But God is supposed to open, if you read Malachi chapter 3, verse 8 to 10, one of the promises of tithing is the window of heaven will be opened and a blessing will be poured upon us, and all nations will call us blessed. Please, I'm looking for the nation that calls us blessed. When we are busy running to other nations, we are running to Canada. How? When ordinary Seychelles, or was it which other Seychelles, I think, locked their border for us. Right now, as a Nigerian, you cannot go to Dubai.
Yes.
Right now, as a Nigerian, you cannot go to
use e-visa anymore. You have to go to the embassy. Yeah.
What's the name of that other country? Maldives. These countries are not.
Oh, Maldives too?
Yes. If not Maldives, Seychelles. One of those countries. So who are the countries that are calling us blessed? We are paying, at least we have a whole population of churches. One single church has 35,000 branches in Nigeria. 35,000 branches. Where are the millionaires? Where are the successful tithers? Some people say, Daddy Freeze, why are you not a billionaire? I have never preached to you that I want to be a billionaire. There's no way in the Free Nation doctrine that says if you follow Daddy Freeze, you'll be a billionaire. What I promise you, I will teach you what the original Bible says. That I will teach you. If you want to be a billionaire, go and follow Aliko. Go and follow Otedola. Go and follow and learn from them.
From the best.
You know,
from the best.
You asked the question. Sorry, let me answer before. What did they do to me? They fought me. Hey, there was a time I stopped getting MC. There was a time when I used to do MC work as my main source of income. And I used to charge ₦1 million. That time, dollar was less than 200 naira. So $1 million was about $5,000. Weddings, I used to do 800K. It was a staple income. At least every year, bad as it bad, 20 million will come from MC. There was a period in my life, 3 years, I no MC. I stopped MCing. I stopped totally. Nobody will use me as their MC.
But they are Muslims now. I mean,
Muslims, you see, most of the people that do those loud things are Christians, or even the Muslims say by the time their friends say, you want to bring Daddy Freeze? No, this person will not come, this person will not come. My name has been brought up in many places where they said, no. Then there was one woman who invited me among so many people who refused to use me. This lady invited me to host her fashion show. I had not emceed in like 3 years. Somebody invited me. People wrote her, they said they are not coming unless she changes MC.
Wow.
So this was not even companies and brands. One-on-one people, I'll say, Iyabo Ojo, come and, no, Daddy Freeze there, I'm not going. That is how bad it was. The one person in 3 years that finally agreed to use me almost ended that contract because people did not turn up. So luckily for me, I had my radio station job that was paying me radio station salary. You all know that nobody on the radio survives on radio station salary. But I had to survive on it for 3 years. There was a point, I was telling people today, there was a point where My baby son could not go to school because we didn't have school fees for him. So we had to keep him at home for a year. And people were asking, is he not old enough to go to school? I said, we just want to be playing with him more. He's our last born. Meanwhile, money for school fees no day. Then the older two that were just above him, we could not pay their fees. And as God will have it, they got scholarships. They got scholarship for one term. That was the worst period of our lives. So the children were on scholarship. So we only paid when children are on scholarship, the tuition and the bus, so we just maybe pay little things so that we could just afford it. And that's how my son sat at home for 1 year. He could not go to school because there was no work. Nobody would agree to work with me. I thank God my wife did not leave me because they were trying times. Up till now, even in my estate, we got a property and my wife wanted to do a catering school. So we started bringing in the equipment. Some of the equipment was so big they could not come in through the door, so they had to break the wall to bring it. The people were seeing, they were like, oh, wow. Baba, they start to fight us again. So, and I was hearing the gossip, it's because it's Daddy Freeze. I'm like, I thought you people had gotten over this. So till today, but you see, what they always tell them now, say, God don't pass on now or be you.
Social media,
your
ring light, that's it. How do you, the energy you have, you're always on live show.
Because I have a team in Israel that gives me quota. They manage me and they pay me every month. So
you have to.
I have to. They want the numbers. So if I'm not meeting the numbers in a week, brother, what happened?
Yeah, and that's dollars.
Oh, straight up. And Nigerian pastor cannot do anything. So I sat down and I'm looking about it. I'm like,
yeah, they closed one door, God opened another one.
Israel, the home birth of Christ, is where the management that is managing me, at least on one particular major side. I'm like, oh wow. Nigeria blocked the door, Israel opened it. Very good. Oh my God, your story is very let me use the word strong. Strong, because it's only the strong that can stand. I know I'm also very strong, but in all this,
because religion is a tough one,
the person in all this that I give the kudos to is my wife. The wife of the Antichrist.
Thank you, our wife.
The wife of the Antichrist. Because I'm the Antichrist. That's what they call me. The wife of the forget my mother. My mother no fit throw away me. Now me still be a pikin, she will manage me.
Yes.
But a woman, she stood with me through it. People were there was one job she was doing, one of these fintech companies. They gave her the contract, the catering contract for that job. And one day the manager came and said, is that Daddy Free's wife? They ended the contract that month.
Wow. Just like that.
Just like that. Iyabo, you for no fit do am. You for run. I'm telling you.
I know.
The women that will have stood by me were in that mess. They don't reach 1% of Nigerian women.
Well, if I believe in something, I stand by it. Though.
When it affects your finances for 3 years.
I don't care when I'm fighting a battle. I have lost a lot too when
I know you, and that's.
So I don't care. A lot of time people ask me, before you people even disown me, I disown everybody. Like, okay, you know what? That industry, I'm not go. I'm not ready. Do you understand? Even they had to bring me back. Okay, no, you are still. But I said I'm not one of you because I'm not going to stop talking, and I'm not going to stop fighting for what
you believe in.
So yes, I think I can be like that too. I'm very stubborn. That it feels very, very stubborn.
I'll tell you a story. At a point, I now said, you know what? Let me slow down on my message so that I can start making money because I'm making money. That month, I just noticed that the money now dropped. I say, fine, this is me probably overthinking things and joining one or two things together. It's called illusory correlation. I went back to my message. My income went back again. I said, hey, this sign.
Okay.
We fight them till we die.
Okay, so Daddy Freeze, has been wonderful talking to you, and I've learned a lot of things while talking to you. And I'll still do my own research
Oh, please do.
to
Very
confirm
important.
what you have said, because at the end of the day, the truth must be said. So we must, always try and find out the truth. Don't jump into conclusion. Do your own research. Learn more. Wisdom is profitable. So it's a good one. So on this show, we do what we call the switch on this show. I would have asked you how was your journey so far, but you've already spoken about your journey all through, and I can see that your journey started well because you had your dad, your mom, upbringing was good, and I can say the only rough patches for you was when you now decided to go religious. Yeah, what's it called?
Free nation
Free nation
in Christ.
in Christ. I think that was, I would say, one of your toughest moments in life. And thank God, like sometimes we say we are not, what's that word, we are not what we have been through. You don't look anything like someone who's gone through any stress or who's gone through any trauma.
You should have seen me 5 years ago.
In life, you're looking very fresh. That
Thank
very,
you.
very fresh. Yeah, I'm telling you. So we have what we do. We call it a switch here, and it's your thing. So I know I have to drink water before I even go there because I can just imagine what that the face is going to ask me. So let me drink the water first. So yeah, you get to be the presenter, and then you get to ask me it's one question, just one, and please have mercy on me.
Okay. Tampon, or what do they call those people? Tampan. I'm sorry, I'm not very familiar with things that happen that is not religion related. What's your issue with them again?
Okay, I don't have an issue with them now, but then it was because of my outburst for the rape, the rape, the
Oh,
the rape issue.
Fabi, what's his name?
Yes.
Yomi. And
They didn't ban me because of Yomi, but they banned me because I was very angry with the whole Yoruba association then saying that they were hypocrites, they were not standing up and fighting for the girl child because one of them had committed the offense. And I did call them an hypocrite, but the way I went about it, it suggested that I was a bit rude in my utterances towards them because I was very angry. So I apologized to them, and then we made up. But I just pulled back. Yeah.
Do you still do movies with them, or?
Well, I am not banned, so I can do movies if I want to, but there's no money in that industry,
Hey,
and I like money.
how much do they pay you as an actress?
Now
Yes.
or then?
Then and now.
Now between 3 million minimum, waka pass role, minor role, 700K.
Then, uncle.
With ẹjọ ẹ bá wa ṣe abẹ̀yìn ẹjọ ẹ support career wa. Very few people paid 250. Majority of them paid 100, 150. It was always begging. And some of them don't even have money I do for free. I can't count the amount of free jobs that I did.
Okay, now this is the real question I want to ask you. And I want you to answer it because it's very important.
Daddy Fizz, you already asked your one question.
That's just the preliminary. This is the real question. Don't worry, don't be afraid. It's not. You see, if assuming, how many movies do you do a year at your best?
Okay, so what happened was I took a break from the.
When you were in the heat of the movie, how many movies they used to do a year?
I don't even know. Probably 10.
10.
Probably, 10 or more than. It depends. Sometimes more, sometimes
Let's say
less.
20.
Yes,
Okay.
more or less.
So.
But as at the time we were doing 20 movies, we were not even paid 100,000.
Okay, I'm just saying.
But by the time we started getting paid 200, 250,
Uh,
100, probably maybe 10, 12 movies a year.
okay. Now,
Mm,
so let's say you get paid 10 movies a year
mm,
at your current rate of
mm,
3 million.
mm,
That's 30 million.
mm,
How do you explain the lifestyle when only your house is like 300 million?
mm-hmm,
How do you explain the because a lot of people have this question they
mm-hmm.
ask actresses.
Okay.
We know the money is not coming from acting.
Mm-hmm,
Where's the money coming from? So a lot, hold on before you
mm-hmm,
answer.
mm-hmm.
The assumption is you have small girls that have big gods,
Mm,
and the big gods, which are
mm-hmm.
the chairmen who are politicians and who bankroll these things.
Those things.
So I want some clarity in that regard.
Regarding.
Where does your money come from? How can you afford the G Wagon? How can you afford the
Okay.
first class trip? How can you afford the Valentino shoe? How can you afford the yeah?
Okay, well, for me, my story is very clear, right? I don't know about others, but I'll talk about myself. Number one, when I came into the industry, I came into the industry with my family's wealth, money. My family, the Oguron family, they're very wealthy. And even though my dad was a drug addict and he was a sport child, never worked a day in his life, he met money. My grandmother was very rich, Josephine and Lisa. She's Delta Igbo. My grandfather, Pa Adekunle Ogunro, very rich, you know, also had money. So I was born into wealth, right? When I decided to get married to my ex-husband, who was poor, I was cut off, right, from having access to money. The only money I had access to was the little um, we had this account where little money was just put for your daily petty stuff, right? So that was the only access I had. And after I took the money out, they also blocked that account because they really didn't want me to get married to who I got married to. But when God will have it, by the time my dad died, well, not when God, I don't know whether English is right, but when my dad died, some amount of money was given to me. Yeah, I was accepted back before he died. And when they read the will after my grandmother died, some money came to me that was meant for my father. But now my dad was late. So the money was shared between me and my brother. And that was how I started life, right? I tried to start life with my husband because we were really suffering then. But things didn't go that direction. So I still had money. I first bought a land in Ogba, Penn Cinema area. Then I moved from the mainland, from Obanikoro to no, me and my husband were living in my dad's house is in Obanikoro. I got married. I was living in Imushin Itire. When the money came, I moved to Ikeja. When things didn't go well, I moved to Ikorodu. At that time, I decided to share the remaining money I had with me, open my second shop in Ilupeju, had my boutique then. I used to go to Dubai back. So I had a salon, a video club, and a boutique at that time. Then I started doing Yoruba movies. So when I came into the Yoruba industry, because I started with the English, I wanted to learn production. I didn't come in to be an actress because I had my money. But I just didn't want to give the money to anybody to produce for me. I wanted to study, know how to go about it, and then invest. Now, while I was there, I had my boutique. I was traveling and going back and forth, buying things and putting in my shop. Some other money came from some other properties, which was also given to me, which also boosted my business. So that was how I started. And when my marriage didn't go well, I went to Ikorodu and I started again, right? Then I took part of my money and became a producer in 2004. So acting was just something I did by the side. Production was what I did more when I was in the Yoruba industry. And at the time, me and Mukare collided and we started producing movies together. And we're doing back to back production. So I was making my money from that. And then later, when I moved to Lagos, there were little bits, here and there in my business. And then I shut that business down at that time, wanting to get a better shop. So what I did was I did a collaboration with corporate pictures, the movie titled Arinzo, right? And we shot that movie then, and we made a lot of. As at then, we shot that movie with 10 million naira, and we made a lot of money. And Rizzo was the biggest thing then. We went to cinema. That was my first production going to cinema ever. We made money, and I
Like, how
was
much did you make?
we made a lot of money, but it was between me and the marketers, and we made money from selling the CD. We made money from cinema. You understand? So we made money, but I can't say in total how much I made, but we made money. And then I was able to change my car. I was able to start up my business again. While I shut down my first shop, I didn't stop doing business. I mean, everybody knows me in the industry. I still had my goods in the car, moving around doing my business. So I've always done business. Acting has not really been like the one putting the food on the table like that. But production has, for me as a producer, at least sometimes you sell your movies, you make 1 million naira, 800,000, 2 million naira, the 4 million naira, depending on the production that you're doing. And it's not one production. Then we used to shoot almost 8, 10 productions, you understand, in a year. So that money was coming in from that angle, right? Now, but this money was not enough for me to say I wanted to buy my house in Lekki, or you understand, buy a very luxurious car like you said, as at that time. So for me, when I moved to Lagos, I started in a two-bedroom BQ. That was where I was with my kids and managing. And then I started again wanting to now do English movies, right? So I started partnering with marketers to start producing English movies. So that now I started with Silence, then I did Black Beyond Disabilities, um, Black Vow, and some other movies. And when I did the first one, Silence, African Magic liked it because I sold it to them. And then African Magic now made me one of their producers, which people don't know because I don't talk about it. So I started producing for African Magic. Do you understand? And then Desmond also came on board, to help me, to put me through directing, acting, and all that. So for me, I made most of my money then from being a producer more than being an actress. Now, that is not to say that as a fine, pretty lady and an hardworking lady that is not married, you will definitely meet one or two people that might like you. And you choose to say, okay, if you are lucky, you meet someone that can support your business. So for me now, if I am dating you, for instance, and you see my struggle, and say, this girl, she's doing well, right? And you will do what you would, if you have, you would support. You'll be able to say, okay, how much are you going to use to produce that movie? Okay, that my movie is going to cost me 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 million. How much do you have? That's the first question. This is what I have. Okay, take support. That happened. I
Mm.
won't deny that fact. That
Mm.
happened. It's different from I'm not doing anything. I'm just there so that a man can come and support my business. Even as a married woman or a housewife, I'm sure you support your wife
Oh yeah.
on her business.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're in a relationship, it's normal. I have also been in relationships whereby I supported the man. My marriage was one, and one or two relationships after that was also there that I supported the man. Do you
Mm.
understand? So it depends on the situation you find yourself in. And if you're hardworking, you're not, after some level of experience in life, you will not want to end up with somebody that will now come and add to your bukata. Number one, I am a bukata woman. I'm a single mother with 2 children, and I have like 5 adopted children. They're all adults now. Do you understand? So the what will I put it? The load is there. You can come into my life and be a supporter and an helper. You cannot come into my life and want to take from me. So I will not date a man that I know will come into my life to want to come and take from me. In fact, if you lie and lie and lie, and I find out that you are here to take from me, I will cut you off because I have my own problems. And for me, I believe that a man must be able to support his woman. Yes, if things are good along the line, or back or maybe things are not that good. If you have been good to me, I can also say, this man was very good to me when he had, okay, let me also support. So it's not that, yes, we don't get, people, what did you call them? Godfather.
Big gods.
Big gods that, well, my own God is the biggest God. So
yeah.
maybe small gods that come in form of, that support. Yes. For my own life, I have supported and I have had people who have supported me. For me, I got gifts here and there, support. So sometimes, yes, it's true. We do have, if you're dating someone that can support you. For me, yeah, that's happened. You can't say, I'm a fine girl now. And I'm not cheap.
This part of the story is the part that should always be there because a lot of people don't know what people, they just see the finished product. They see the car, they know somebody must be financing them.
Yes, I saw a lot of Dino bought your house. Nibo, I saw that. I was like, that thing even pissed me off the most. Like, excuse me, are you guys okay? Do you understand? No way, that never happened. You understand? I'm still paying my mortgage. To God be the glory. I have never defaulted. I know very soon I will be done paying it and other things will happen. So yes, some people have big gods. If you are lucky to have a big God, would you ever deny money? If somebody says, please, take 20 million, you will take collect now as long as you did steal it and it's a gift. So, but the fact is that, are you working? Are you struggling? Because your big God or small God can go one day. Things can happen, everybody go there separately. What are you going to fall back on? So you must do the work. You must do the math. If it comes as a gift, it's fine. Oh, yes. Many times I get gifts and it's fine. I have one fan. I have never met him before. One day he just said, please, can I have your account details? I said, for what? He said, I said, I don't need it. Please, my spirit just wants to give you. I said, guess how much he first sent to me? 20,000 naira. It was funny, but I appreciated it. It's a gift and it came from a good place. And I said, thank you so much. And he said, please, I'll be doing this often. Till tomorrow, that guy sends me 30K, 20K. Young boy, he will just send me and say, auntie, pray for me. I have not seen him like this. And I will pray for him. I have people that send me 200K, 500K fans. That happens a lot. So, but sometimes you also get, your big God or big daddy, whatever which you call it. It's normal.
Lovely hanging out with you and getting to know more about you.
Yes. So Daddy Freeze, I'm going to allow you sign out for us. Let's see.
All right, guys. I'm Daddy Freeze, convener of the Free the Sheeple movement and leader of the Free Nation in Christ. And I learned a lot hanging out with Iyabo today. And Iyabo is one of the few people that, few Nigerian celebs, they are coming more and more. But there was a time when many of them weren't coming around because I was offending their pastors. But Iyabo was always there for me, and I'm always going to be there for her too.
Thank you.
And I wish you the best, and I'd like to see you succeed. Because
Thank you.
I learned a lot from you about the hustle, man. You didn't give up.
I never gave up. Never gave up. So guys, thank you so much. Always, 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 always put on your notifications so you get to watch amazing episodes of amazing people that come on this show called The Gold Room with Iyabo Ojo. Until next week, I say thank you and I love you.